before we continue where we left off, let's hear who we have at the table, players and characters. Hannah, will you begin?
Hello, I'm Hannah, playing Winnie, Guardian of the Shared Sky.
Brennan?
I'm Brennan. I'm playing Brother Arcos Gerard, Priest of Furia.
And Rob?
I'm Rob, playing Magnus Vale, Master of Day and Night.
And I am Amelia Somm, your GM, and we're all gathered in Magnus's study to appreciate Craig's cool new hat.
Well, this has been an exciting day. Who would like some tea?
I'd love some tea.
I could really use some tea about now.
Okay.
Can you make it sweet?
Yeah.
Of the sweet variety?
Why don't we relocate into one of the sitting rooms and sit on some couches and maybe just talk about what just happened? Does that sound good? Have some tea?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I'm a fan of chamomile myself.
So you all sort of file out of the study, go down the hall to the left, down like a half set of stairs, and find yourself in a beautifully opulent, lush sitting room with plush couches, soft, large pillows on the floor, little end tables, and Benedict brings some tea soon after.
Magnus is going to say crisscross applesauce on one of the throw pillows on the floor.
I'm guessing there's only one chair that's big enough for Arcos, so I'm gonna take that one.
Yeah, there's two really big plush chairs, and there's kind of a long couch, and then there's like an ottoman sort of on one side of the room, and then on the other side of the room, and then pretty plush chairs. Huron also sits on the floor, crisscross, somewhat close to Magnus, and Craig is going to sit on the couch. Julian's kind of sitting across one of the plush chairs, like with his feet up. Everyone's sipping tea.
Oh, this is relaxing.
Just wondering, would Arcos get like a teacup scale to his size, or is he holding like a?
You have been well. This is an interesting question you've posed here, because you've been here enough that surely Magnus has Arcos-sized glasses and cups and like general utensils. Rob, does Magnus give those to Arcos in this moment, or does Magnus make Arcos have a tiny little teacup?
I think Magnus would keep the small teacup.
So it's one of those things where, like, I think the dynamic here is Magnus only gives him the Arcos-sized things when he asks for it. Otherwise, it's always the small teacups, and so it's just kind of like, oh, why didn't you ask for the bigger ones? Of course we've got bigger ones. It's easy.
I just think you find it funny.
I don't know why you would. Just look at it in your hand. It's so the size.
When he takes a sip of her sweet tea.
What are we talking about?
Craig's new condition.
That's right. Okay, Craig. Tell me, do you feel do you know anything about the god Nemeros?
Yes.
Wonderful. Would you share with the class?
Yeah, they're the god of time, and well, they're one of the time-related gods. They're the god of the past and of like memories.
Indeed. So, do you feel any sort of new affinity for time magic, or do you have any memories that you don't remember before, anything like that?
No.
Well, that's probably good for the meantime. Well, what exactly is it that you're wanting to do now that you have this crown?
I don't really. I don't really know. Kind of seems like it's sort of stuck on my head, so probably just kind of change my I don't know.
So the impression I'm getting is that you're comfortable just staying around here or with us and waiting to see what happens?
Yeah, so I mean, maybe
Okay.
it'll like take over my brain and then I'll murder all of you or something.
You know, Magnus is now thinking back to not 24 hours ago where he heard a conversation between his apprentices talking about like, okay, but if this thing turns me evil, you have to kill me. And he's like, why is this always an applicable solution? Okay. Craig.
Mm-hmm.
This is my fault. I shouldn't have been so flippant about...
Yeah, no, this is 100% your fault.
I second
That was never in question.
When he raises her glass to that.
Okay,
I love
fine.
this group.
Word, we didn't have to agree so hard. Didn't force you to put it on or anything. Okay, first things first. Nobody please touch any more magical objects that we don't know what they do. And I will be more clear when things are dangerous when they're not, because frankly, I'm used to not really having guests that don't on the up and up about this. So that's my fault. We'll avoid that in the future. But second of all, now that you have the crown, it was sort of my property or my keeping, so I do feel some responsibility to not let you, be corrupted by it and, go on a murder spree, like you said. So, do you trust me to sort of help you work through this a little bit as the need arises, and to sort of keep an eye on you?
What do you mean by like help?
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, Craig, but I am a very powerful wizard. So,
No.
I know. People are always shocked. And that hurts a little bit, but it's always funny. Because when they don't expect much of you, it's always better when you can prove them wrong. Anyway, what I mean is that you have a very powerful magical artifact attached to you, and there could be a lot of unintended side effects. And I, frankly, and the people that are with us in this room are the only ones really capable enough to help you with magic if something were to go disastrously wrong. So I'm not going to poke around in your brain or try to take the crown off of your head or do anything nefarious. Just, if something goes wrong, do you trust me to help you?
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. Great, so that's that.
Cool. Well, this has been fun. I'm just gonna and kind of puts the tea and the saucer down and just kind of stands up and kind of just and just kind of walks out.
Bit of
I
an
think you did
awkward
it.
lad, isn't he?
You did an excellent job, Magnus.
I mean, you did put him on the spot a little bit.
I don't really see what the big deal is, honestly. If he doesn't feel immediately evil, it's just sort of any other magical object, I suppose.
Do you
I
think,
mean-
what if, Julie says, what if he was feeling evil and just didn't say anything because he was so evil?
I mean, he was kind of evil from the start, so like, would that be that much of a difference?
I don't know.
That's an excellent point.
It's like evil crown evil seems worse than like regular evil.
Can I do like just an insight check into
A
like
vibe check?
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah.
mean like yeah, I guess so. Yeah, just a vibe check. What would that be?
A non-D&D branded insight check.
Knowledge, notice, I guess,
Maybe. Hold on.
or
let me-
smarts.
I don't know if it would be smart. I honestly think it might be like, well, are you trying to like analyze his behavior and figure it out?
I'm just sort of like, he's a tough nut to crack. Like, he's not showing any emotion either way. He's not seemed shocked about anything that's happened to him, but he like clearly, it seems like to Magnus that's a defense mechanism to the fact that he's just like gone from one bad thing to another, I suppose. So I'm trying to guess, I'm trying to clock, is he like I wanted to see what his intentions are. Like, is he actually like comfortable here and like wanting to just like live somewhat peacefully, or is he like plotting something bad?
Okay. Yeah. I would think that would be smart to notice.
Okay.
Your target number is going to be 8.
It's a 10.
Yeah. So as they leave, Magnus kind of trying to piece together everything that's happened. It's been pretty eventful. I think it would be incorrect for you to assume, like, if Craig just wanted to not deal with any of this and just kind of have a regular normal life, he probably wouldn't have wanted to come with you guys here. I don't know if you would from observation, it's not like you can just look at someone and be like, oh, they're hatching an evil plot. But I think it would be correct to assume that there is some ulterior motive here. And I think it would also be correct to assume that regardless of what did or didn't happen when Craig put on that crown, it is unlikely that it didn't affect him as much as he's pretending.
So in other words, it's not obviously, he doesn't have an obviously evil intention, but it might, even if he did, it wouldn't be obvious anyway. But also, like, it's fair to assume he has a motive for being here. And also that Magnus clocks that he's for sure hiding some true emotions about how he feels about this crown. Like, he isn't just like completely like, I'm blue dabba dee dabba die about it. He's just like,
yeah,
he's probably lying a little bit. Okay. He probably lying a little bit at least.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Magnus like says to the room, like sort of in response to this conversation, like, look, we don't know Craig that well. And it seems pretty likely that he decided to join us for some reason that he hasn't shared yet. And it is unfortunate that there's now the added complexity of the crown. I don't think we need to be immediately alarmed, but like with every sort of magically powerful creature, object in person that walks through these walls, I expect that everybody will behave and not resort to any sort of violence or plotting or anything like that. I won't tolerate violence in my home. I won't tolerate disrespect to my guests either. So, until proven otherwise, we go about our business and just keep an eye on one another. How's that?
I raise my drink again.
Get a thumbs up from Julian.
Raise a very empty teacup.
Okay, well, that's about even for the day in terms of speeches. So last time we had pinned a couple of possible leads for stuff to work on. One of them was the Fae. The other one was Arcos's business with the monastery. Do we want to talk about that at all?
I believe I had an appointment to go pour shit on plants.
I was about to say, mine, I don't have an appointment yet. So I'll back burner this one. I also really want to fuck with some Fae. I would. My curiosity is
those
burning.
Fae are my in-laws.
This is.
So
I
maybe
really
chill about fucking with the Fae.
I want to meet the Fae if possible, barring any other incidents with Magnus's collection of whatnots.
Yeah. So as this sort of conversation wraps up, you guys kind of go through about the tower for the day, kind of doing your general sort of cool down, downtime activities. At some point, Curie would invite you all to the greenhouse to talk about what I would say probably like 3 or 4 days pass in this tower, with you guys going about your things, and Kiri spent all of their time trying to figure out things about these rock homunculus creatures, now that they're in an environment where they can actually like be studied, and have full access to all of Magnus's resources and materials. Is there anything you guys wanted to do over the past few days?
I do have something that I want to do before we leave Tower Fatum. At some point, I want to have a one-on-one with Julian, just an interaction with him. I want to invite him to throw fireballs at the target range at some point, but we can do that whenever.
Yeah. I mean, you can do that now if that's something that Magnus would have done probably like the next day or something.
Yeah, I think I'm going to send... like a letter to Julian at some point during the day after we have like the tea room conversation. Mm-hmm. And it's going to say, Dear Julian, I've been meaning to catch up with you since our adventure. Please meet me at your earliest convenience at the target range and bring a little bit of the good stuff. Magnus.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, you send that, and then about 45 minutes later, Julian heads up to the target range with the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is the good stuff just Fireball? Like, is it cinnamon whiskey?
Fireball for fireballs.
No, I think it's I think it would be whatever brand they shared like the first day that Julian came to the tower seeking an apprenticeship for Magnus, which is when they like first sort of threw fireballs at his target range. I think it would be a made up brand that I totally had pre-thought of.
Yeah.
Let's say
it's Gracious Satyr whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. How did you know? Gracious Satyr whiskey. That's
it's because it's the good stuff, obviously.
Yeah, Gracious Satyr whiskey. Yeah, with like a smiling sort of like rosy-faced drunk satyr on the front holding up a big wooden jug.
There's like and there's like also Gracious Satyr wine, Gracious Satyr port, like it's ales. It's like a whole thing.
So Julian finds Magnus like using some magic to just like set up like the wooden targets in the distance, and using some like basic magic to like touch up the grounds a little bit, like reset the targets.
Yeah. I assume a lot of it probably you have automated to reset itself.
Yeah, I think so. But I think at some point, like, you know, the targets get too damaged, he has to repair them and sort of like recast some of the magic. Takes a little bit of maintenance. The tower isn't fully self-sustaining, unfortunately. It's sort of like Magnus's like dad homeowner dream. It's like, the one point this tower will completely take care of itself, like self-sustaining.
You always want to install the like solar panel thing. Yeah, totally off the grid.
Yeah. And he says, Julian, glad that you could make it.
Yeah, well, you know, my schedule's like really busy, so I had to pencil you in.
I appreciate you making the time. Mm-hmm. You have been dealing with a bit more responsibility lately. You've been impressive.
Thank you. Just trying to keep up.
You always do, lad. Magnus is gonna like sit down like at one of the like I imagine there's like a bench sort of like nearby where you can sort of like wait your turn. And he's gonna pull out 2 glasses.
Julian joins right next to you.
I thought it would be a sort of a nice refresher to just get back to some good old fashioned fun and magic, you know. Throw a couple fireballs around.
Yeah, no, I think that's Julian opens the whiskey and starts pouring into the 2 glasses. Yeah, I think that would be nice.
Do you feel like you've you've been learning a lot since you started adventuring with me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, they don't teach you this shit in school.
Sometimes life's the best school there is. Though, it does save a lot of time when you write stuff down. Well, I'm glad that you found it useful. I've been worrying a lot recently that maybe I've been a bit of a bad teacher to you lot.
Why?
Well, just with the thing that happened the other day, I've never really been that good at being responsible or accountable. And I don't know, I just want you lot to, not be like me all the time, I suppose. You're not. All of you are very different and amazing. The Arcaneids, you. I just don't want to, I don't know, be a bad example all the time. It's just hard.
I mean, if anything, you could just teach us what not to do. I think we'll turn out okay.
That's right. Slams the drink, casts a fireball over his shoulder at a target.
Yeah, Julian fires one off right after you.
It never gets old. So what do you think that you want to do once you become a full-fledged wizard, huh?
God, I don't even know anymore. No offense, but I don't think I want, and kind of gestures at the tower. All of this.
Yeah. It's a lot. But everybody needs their own thing,
I think I just want to travel the world.
Yeah, there's a lot of world that needs mapping outside of Koira. It's been, as far as we know, many years since anybody's really had communications with the other continents.
I don't think that's true.
Well, I mean, sort of in a global sense. There's word that passes through, people that travel, but like in the way that Koira's sort of in a lawless age, it's a bit hard to have consistent, big picture communication.
Yeah,
Unless,
I feel like...
do you know something about the other continents that you're not sharing? Have you heard secrets?
No.
But maybe you wouldn't share them. I'm on to you, Julian. I'm on to you.
Nope, just, you caught me. I've been secretly communicating with a vast network of spies throughout the world.
Magnus looks at him directly into his eyes. Very stoically. No movement in his face. I am so proud of your spy network.
Thank you. It was very hard to establish.
But now, when I'm assassinated, I'll know.
I'm not going... If you get assassinated, don't pin that on me. I can think of 12 people off the top of my head who want you dead for a wide range of reasons, and none of them have anything to do with my spy network.
But you're the master, puppet master. You're pulling the strings. I know, Julian.
You're right. I came here to be your apprentice so I could kill you.
I've cracked the case. It's all clear now. Fireball.
This one as well.
So, you don't think that you'd stay around here then? When you, fly the nest, so to speak?
I don't think so.
I see.
Is that okay?
Of course.
I mean, you kind of need me,
Okay. What do you mean?
I mean, it's just, since you get lonely,
Yeah.
I don't want to leave you by yourself. I mean, you have like Benedict and stuff and Keeper, but I don't want you to get weird or I think it could be dangerous for everyone.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a menace when I get emotional. Or, I don't know. Yeah, no, I suppose you're right. You've been a steadying force since Mortalia. And he sort of like gestures with his hand, sort of in a like whatever gesture, and poof. It's weird. I'm never not thinking about it, but sometimes I get distracted for a little bit and I sort of forget that she's gone. And then I feel bad once I realize that I had forgotten for a moment. And it's like picking out a scab. But hope is not lost. We don't know what happened, which is fucking annoying, but it means that there's still hope. But, listen, Julian, I have my brother, Heron, now, I guess, and the Arcaneids and my friends. You don't need to feel responsible for my sanity or, well-being, but it is touching. And you should live whatever life you want to leave. I just want to make sure that the tower is taken care of, and there are lots of people that could do that. In fact, I was thinking, at some point I'll need to retire, so to speak. I haven't told anybody this, but after the battle, it sort of felt like I pulled something. Something in my spirit, in the way that sort of if you tear a ligament in your leg, you might not be able to jump quite as high, even if it's healed. Like maybe I couldn't reach quite as deep within inside me. And I think it means I'm slowing down a bit. I've been sort of at the peak of magical ability for a while, and I think over the next few years maybe things will start to slow down, so I was thinking, well hell, I've got this giant fuck-off magical tower, I might as well fill it with people that want to learn something about magic. And I'd like to sort of set that up into the future, even if I can't be teaching at it. Just some food for thought, I guess.
Yeah. Are you okay?
I think so. I mean, I don't feel like dramatically weaker or anything, but when I turned her into a frog, for example, I did that, and I was like, yeah, like this is pushing the boundaries of like what normal magic can do, but I can do it anyway because I can kind of cheat a little bit. But when I did that, I sort of felt that like recede. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like maybe I only had that in me like one more time. But sort of just for that specific spell, like I can still do all my other stuff fine, I think.
Is that why all your fireballs have been shit? And then shoots another one off.
Oh, how dare you! But anyway, yeah, I sort of see you and the Arcaneids as I don't know, torchbearers for the things that we've built here. I've sort of become happy with this magical society we've coddled together, so I'd like to see it grow, I guess.
Yeah, me too.
What to do about the Craig? What's your intuition?
Craig is a tough nut to crack.
Ain't he that?
I think he's fine though. I mean, maybe not fine from like the crown thing. I mean, in general, I think he's fine. But yeah, it'll be. We'll just have to keep an eye on them.
Yeah. Heard him mention that he was he brought good luck. I wonder what that means. Suppose I should ask him.
Yeah, no clue.
Anyway, okay. Let's set up the targets, 5 fireballs each. Whoever gets the most targets with the blasts wins, alright?
Oh, you're on.
Cool.
Assuming you can still do magic by the end of this.
Magnus stands up and like it really exaggerates like creaky joints, like, oh, I don't know. I'm feeling more geriatric by the minute. Yeah, I think they just play a fun little game in the courtyard.
Yeah.
Some little bonding.
Cool. Any other things that need to happen in the next day before you guys go talk to Kiri? In a couple days. Nope. Okay, so you guys just hang around the tower, get things ready, prepare, go over the notes that you learned about the previous. You go over the notes you learned about the blight-soaked plants and furthering in that, and the plans for expansion and grouse and drawing power from the earth and just trying to see if there's anything there, but you go get pretty familiar with it. And you head to Kiri in the greenhouse, who is very excitedly waiting for you. Okay, so I've been studying them this entire time as we've been traveling, but I was able to run some more advanced experiments using some of your instruments to try and determine what sort of magic powers them, how they're powered, how they work, and how they function. Typically, we can do this and figure out everything we need to know about these little rock homunculus creatures.
Amazing. Well, take the stage.
Okay. I have no idea what's going on with them.
Amazing.
So these glyphs, and kind of picks one up, and the creatures seem very friendly toward Kiri now. And they kind of show you some of these like markings and runes, which are almost entirely imperceptible to the naked eye. Kiri has dyed different portions of it. So it's interesting because these are technically runes, and they are, but they don't look like, you kind of expect magic runes to look like, like a carving, like usually there's like a base shape of a circle, square, like a triangle or something. And then there's like lines and they correlate to different types of power. The things that Kiri has noted as runes just look like cracks in the rock or some of the striations in the patterns of the material. They are nothing like what you have ever really seen before. And in fact, it would be like if you were looking at runes on someone's skin and you just sort of drew lines with the wrinkles.
Oh, fascinating. Magic sight. I want to see them with my magic eyes.
You're looking with your magic eyes, and previously when you looked at these and they just sort of glowed with magic, they still do. But you can see all of these individual creases glowing now that you're looking up very close, which is not unlike, typically when things do glow with your magic sight, there usually is something like different aspects of it glows. Runes tend to glow brighter, but you're realizing it's hard to exactly determine the difference. It would be like if you, kind of like if you're red-green colorblind and you're looking at those dots where it's just slightly different shades of brown, except it's just that you haven't attuned to look at this before in this level. And even looking at it now, you know it's magic and you see the runes traced out. Your magic sight, it's almost like you can't technically you can see it, but you wouldn't have looked at this and thought that these were runes. You would have just thought these are areas where it's glowing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Okay. Fascinating. Like, I didn't have the right, like, microscope lens to see clearly, like, what these things were.
You didn't have a microscope lens, and also you didn't know that this was something you should be looking out for.
Right. Fascinating. They're sort of organic runes. Oh. Where's Ignia? Well, I want to see the one that I had called dibs on.
Yeah. Ignia, which is this, sort of darker volcanic rock one. You can see it, and you can see like areas where now that you're staring closely and you've looked through it, you can see these different areas of pooling of magic where it's more intense than others.
Can I want to pick it up and I want to hold it.
Yeah. Have you been spending time with Ignia at all over the past few days?
I think I've been like popping in a little bit to like check up on Kiri and her research. I'm not sure how much she would have like let me interrupt her, but
they probably would like let you be there as long as you didn't like interfere.
Yeah, fair enough.
So Ignia lets you pick them up. But you can see they all love Kiri the most.
Well, they're still adorable. What else did you find?
Okay, well, the thing about these sort of organic runes is these were still constructed, I believe. So something or someone or some way these things were imbued with magic. I mean, there are non-magical rocks that look identical to this, where these sorts of and like kind of picks up a different rock that's in the greenhouse that have, these similar types of rocks, similar types of striations and cracks that aren't magical. But so only sometimes they're runes and sometimes they're not. This is far more ancient and primordial than anything that I've studied or anything that I've seen in recorded history. So probably need to consult areas that have histories that stretch beyond the epochs.
Yes, I can't say for certain, but it is entirely possible that these runes are both artificial in the sense they did not appear naturally on their own, but also not inscribed by humans.
Right.
Indeed, which would raise a lot of fun and interesting questions. Kiri, since you are the lead scientist on this project, I think it is only fair that you get to pick the species designation for this, previously unknown species.
Oh, God.
Think on it. It's a big decision. You don't need to shout out a name right now, but...
Yeah, I think whatever these things are, however the Brow found them, I don't think they're mine to name, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Please explain.
Well, I mean, whatever this thing is, it already existed. We didn't discover it. We just found someone else's discovery.
I suppose that's true for a lot of different things, though. It doesn't change the fact that we don't know what to call them, so we might as well, I don't know, make up a name until we figure out whatever their creator called them.
We did do as much with Craig.
Fair point. Craig at least agreed to his name. Wasn't
Okay, out of character, Rob, do you have a thing you want to call these? Because I was just planning on calling them homunculi.
Homunculi. I don't know. I was
Rockmunculi?
I was thinking that like Kiri could come up with like a fun scientific name.
Homunculus rock-is.
Yeah. Homunculus Kyrie or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Curious.
What's Latin for rock baby?
Well, we already named them Terra and
Oh yeah.
Terra and Ignia, and I have the third one written down. Hold on.
Carla.
Yes.
I was just being goofy. We can sidebar the naming conversation.
I'll think on it.
No worries.
The other thing is typically the only places that have histories that extend in those directions pre this epoch are for beings that existed before this epoch.
Gods and titans and spirits. Oh my.
Right. And since the titans are whatever they are, and spirits tend to just sort of exist ephemerally and don't really follow any organization or structure, if we're looking for records on magic, probably gods.
Is it possible these were handmade by a god or a vassal of a god?
It's anything is possible.
Few days in this tower, and already we have infinite possibilities.
It's like any other day.
There are 2 places I can think of that might have records or information that might be useful.
Okay.
Neither of which are particularly going to be easy for you to access. Arcos, you may be able to get us, or you all, into the Crypt of Caves that exist beneath the Church of Furia in the Forlorn Forest.
I was thinking the same thing. They're not too kind to strangers. Everybody loves Winnie.
They know me. You can vouch for me, right? Please, I've been dying to go to the crypts underneath the Tower of Fury, please. I've had my own independent curiosities about what lies in the crypt underneath the Temple of Furia in the Forlorn Forest, and this is the perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that's exactly why they don't like you there.
I have a specific letter banning you ever since you dressed up as one of our esteemed members.
I brought the relics back. Oh my god, they're so uptight about it. But I guess that's the point.
Uptight would be an excellent word for that church. But yes.
You're like their guy, you know what I mean? Like, surely we can figure out something. Or I can, speaking of disguises, I've had a few that I've been wanting to try out.
No. Absolutely not. I will petition the Lord Abbot.
I think we can swing 2 out of 3. Good versus band. You know?
And leave me behind? Oh,
no.
I'm
not leave you behind. Just like, 2 of us are good. One of us is but we're going to keep an eye on him, you know?
I'm sure everybody will be amenable. I just have to submit the proper paperwork and petitions. Stuff that I'm sure you enjoy if you'd like to help with that, Magnus. I'm kidding.
Well, you can borrow some more of my enchanted quills if you need help with the paperwork.
Most certainly. There is information about gods, some of the old gods even, buried deep and cryptically in, the crypt. Speaking
of old gods, the other location that has some of the oldest texts that exist in Koira would be the Library of Anemoros in the House of Sar in Rel, which you, Magnus, have actively been banned from.
It's Library of Anemoros in the House of what?
Sar, S-A-R. Sar is the divine realm. The House of Sar is where that is anchored to Koira.
Okay, I mean...
For that one time you broke in there for something. You're banned from that entire, like, building complex for desecrating a religious site.
Oh my god, it's not my fault that the books that I needed access to had magical protections on them that were really vibrant, okay? But when you start a fire and a flood and an earthquake in the library at the same time, what are you gonna do? Explain that away as if it's not your fault. It was a witch hunt, I was persecuted, and I still can't go there, so...
Oh, God.
Magnus, has anybody ever told you that perhaps you started your own school because you were banned from all the ones that existed?
I was just too smart for them. Honestly, they couldn't handle me.
Right, that's the issue.
My school's better anyway. My library floats. Fuck that library.
As it stands, I have a little bit of leeway being a conquering hero and all that. When it comes to the crypt, I'm not sure the library would listen to me.
Well, I guess this is why I have students with library cards. Is Julian too well associated with me to go in my stead to some place?
Julian may be able to.
Okay.
But you would...
I imagine there's like a several group bounties for like Arcaneids plus Magnus that exist in the world for various reasons.
Oddly enough, Julian is not included in any bounties that you have ever seen about you all.
I'm a good dad, goddammit, and I tell him to hide when shit gets dangerous. He's a good boy.
Yeah,
One of my flaws on my character sheet is wanted by the authorities. So.
And not just
Magnus
the
is
authority.
like, everybody
multiple.
hates magic and they don't trust, and the distrust is destroying it. Which, to be fair, where Magnus comes from, they do hate magic. Everywhere else Magnus goes, they just hate him.
We're gonna team up with a wanted criminal again. Why are we doing this?
Magnus causes a lot of trouble. Magnus also finds a lot of trouble in progress and makes it worse.
Yeah.
And a lot of Magnus has done several things that have been like balanced the scales towards good in big ways, but is also like a lot of times is upsetting like people in power for that same reason.
Oh yeah.
So like
very chaotic good.
So a lot of it is justified. A lot of it is not necessarily his fault.
Let's just hope all these people forgive you once this is all said and done for your services.
Also, you may I don't know, if depending on how that whole crown situation comes out, Craig came by, talked to me. Oh my god, that kid can talk for hours. It is crazy. But depending on how that whole thing turns out, if they are like some kind of a chosen one for Anemoros, I don't know. That might help you there.
Yeah, we're totally on the same page about that. Of course. What exactly you and Craig have been talking about? What have y'all been chatting about?
Just life and things, and I was told them in confidence.
Right. Of course, I would never ask you to
break a contract.
Break wizard client privilege, of course.
I would. What's going on here?
No. It's I'm glad that Craig feels like he can confide in you, and I, of course, trust you to alert me if anything truly concerning comes up.
Oh, I can't.
You're a better person than me. I'm sure you'll handle it fine.
Yeah, I just, contractual magic's kind of my whole thing, so I've literally ensorcelled my mouth, so I can't.
Do I need to read you the basics about making safe magical contracts again?
I know more about making magical contracts than you do at this point.
I know you do, but just don't go be selling your soul, please. At least not for a good price.
Listen, someone's soul, that's the most powerful bargaining chip you have. You can't sell it. At worst, you should pawn it. Then you could always get it back. Well, maybe not always. Depends on who you pawn your soul to.
It's amazing how all of my students make me simultaneously so proud and so concerned.
It's just concerned with me, although I know you didn't ask. Continue.
Like teacher, like student, honestly.
I feel like maybe Kiri and Magnus both glare at Winnie.
Yeah.
I'm laughing. Can I give Winnie a high five?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, you're welcome for figuring all this out for you all.
Kiri, you've done an amazing job. Thank you very much for the leads, for the information. You are wise. You make amazing contracts. What is Kiri's favorite treat? Of the edible variety.
Not Magnus treating his students like dogs.
I was thinking the exact.
I'm not about to hand her a dog
boy.
treat. I'm
It was
gonna
a
send her a
treat.
gift basket, you turds.
That was all I was thinking too.
Probably like a wine and charcuterie situation.
Okay.
Good choice.
Amazing. I'm just gonna file that away for now. Well, I think then we have some travel plans to arrange. Will you be wanting to join us or stay here with the rock homunculi?
I might link up back with you. I would like to stay here with these little guys for a while, and then I got a message from Routh, so I might circle back with them just to make sure we can all debrief and give you an update on how everyone got back safely. But I think you guys are hopefully more than capable of handling this on your own.
Yes, we I'm starting to feel like maybe over the course of the past 2 days we've all sort of forgotten that we're seriously powerful people with the amount of dumb shit.
Yeah, Kiri, you were like, "Oh, you want to come with?" And Kiri's like, You got it.
Yeah. We can more than take care of ourselves. It's been refreshing sort of being back home though, and I don't know, it's sort of been nostalgic, reminded me of when all of you were romping around the castle again.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice. It's nice to not have to be killing people or have people killing us.
Agreed.
One day a conversation in this castle will happen that isn't morbid and circles back around to death. But that day is not today. We've got things to do, and things to find out. So, I guess, so I can't go to either of these places.
I can.
Well, okay.
I think Arcos. Now it's Mills. It's up to you on how well it succeeds. But I think I can try and use my Giga clout to get them into the crypt.
That is possible. That is definitely within the realm of possibility.
Giga clout.
For a really high roll. I guess.
Yeah. And then and also if you're hi, the fate of the world, blah blah blah.
Right.
You have some clout. Not only are you incredibly powerful, from a physical and magical sense, but you guys all carry a lot of weight. For the House of Sar, yeah, you are not explicitly allowed into that building, but you're not banned from the entire city of Rel or anything.
Yet.
That would be problematic, maybe.
Really damn funny, though.
And it's also worth noting, Winnie, you would know that around Rel, specifically the village where you're from, that gate would be one that would be definitely open if you wanted to go to the Feywild.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Despite them saying that they had like closed down a lot of them, that's like your home home base.
Cool.
Our characters don't know that Winnie has an appointment, right?
No, I said it. I mean, she doesn't have an appointment. They were just like, come talk to us when you can. And I said that to everyone. So
Okay. So
When he's
in that
not
case-
in a rush or anything, there's nothing.
yeah,
nothing to see.
they weren't like, we need you to come here now. They were like, come when your travels allow. You know that sort of thing.
All right. So
A not time sensitive plot hook.
Yeah.
3 places to go. Which one first?
I will say, like Magnus, I think might be able to do like it might be within the realm of possibility for Magnus to sort of like be an eye in the sky for some of these places that he can't like directly go into, like either working through Julian or like maybe sending along like his cat to like warg into like and go with you guys. He wouldn't be able to like do combat or anything, but at least he could like join if I can't get Giga clouded into the crypt.
I think the crypt sounds really interesting. And
Yeah, that does
would bring up
sound
the crypt.
Geographically, the crypt would be on the way to Rel.
Woo!
You're on the far east side of the continent. Forlorn is roughly in the kind of middle south, and then Rel is in the northwest.
Awesome.
So,
Crypt first, Magnus. I bet we can get you in.
if you say so, they're not gonna want to like talk to me or see me. In fact, I'm pretty sure if anybody of the ecclesiarchy of that temple sees me, it's going to be like a fight on sight. Oh boy, they were mad. Who do you think we should take along with us? At some point, we wanted to bring Craig to the Temple of Anemoros, the Library of Anemoros. We probably aren't going to come back to the tower in the meantime, are we? If the crypt is sort of on the way to the library.
I think that would be counterproductive.
True.
Okay, so we take Craig and Julian. So are all the other Arcanades accounted for? Like, did Ilya get back where she was going safe? And
Yeah, Ilya and Routh were making sure everyone was getting to where they needed to go, both through teleporting and also just guiding people. So they're still working on that, but like they're both fine and accounted for. They've reported back. Jasper is somewhere around the tower. He kind of just keeps to himself, generally speaking, and has been going back and forth between the blight research and the like, what is it, the round battery stuff. So it's pretty common whenever something like this happens for him to just sort of like zone out in his own thing. And so he's probably just going to keep doing that. At some point, Ilya and Ralph will likely just come back to this tower as a base of operations once they finish settling everyone everywhere and getting reports on what's going on throughout the continent.
okay, so they're all doing work. I'm not gonna bother.
Yeah.
All right, so it's gonna be the 3 of us and the boys. So yeah, I guess we'll all make a trip.
Preferred method of travel, everybody?
Easiest. Whatever that may be.
I guess we haven't talked too much about like the infrastructure of this world. I guess like what are the roads like? Like what are the normal means of travel? Like do we have like carriage services? I mean, I guess I can teleport us places. There's some risk inherent in that.
Yeah. So in order to get to Forlorn, you would definitely have to. You always have to teleport out of the tower because it's kind of actively located like in the middle of nowhere intentionally. you would probably teleport just outside of the forest would be the safest. And then there's a village outpost you probably go to pretty often, and it would make the most sense, I think, to traverse horseback. You could have like a carriage and things. There's not like there's roads and paths through the forest, but it's not always reliably kept up. So it is probably safer to just go like horseback rather than having like a stagecoach that you might have to abandon at some point, or that would get stuck because of like inclement weather.
Word. Okay. So we'll just teleport.
Or fantasy creature that isn't horses if you want something more fantastical.
It's gonna be pretty huge if I'm not gonna be walking.
Well, we could. I would take Pepper if you guys also had a way to fly. Can you guys fly? It's my griffin.
I can't fly.
Well, my wife's griffin.
I don't think I can fly, but let me check my spells to see if I can. I can teleport, kind of.
You could also take Pepper with you and then have horses, and then just have the ability to do some like flight occasionally. Well, because Pepper can also just walk.
Yeah. I feel like she's gonna draw a lot of attention though.
She will, for sure. That is 100% what would happen.
And that's sort of what Magnus is trying to avoid. So, okay, we'll leave the flying horse bird at home. Yeah, we'll just buy horses and like provisions once we teleport near the town. What town is it again?
Forlorn?
It's in the Forlorn.
Yeah, well, Forlorn is Forlorn is a town and also the name of the forest.
Home Sweet Home, or next to Home Sweet Home.
Yeah.
Okay. So I imagine like Magnus like in I guess he would have like a teleportation like platform or circle somewhere in his tower.
Oh yeah, you probably just have like a room.
Yeah.
That's dedicated to it.
Yeah, I think like probably like on one of the lower floors there is a large circular room with like runes carved and painted into the floor that like assist with this sort of magic to make it more precise than just doing it in the field the way that Ilya does it. So we'll just all gather around in a circle, the five of us, and
hold hands, of course.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you leaving your brother here in the tower?
Oh, Hurin. No, I'm going to track down Hurin in the tower before we teleport out. I guess I need to have a convo with him.
Yeah.
Where would I find him? Like, where has he been posted up and like relaxing and hanging out? I imagine we've like seen each other and like had some small talk, like over some coffee and stuff.
He's generally just kind of walking around, like just exploring, not like with intent or anything, but also like half exploring because this is a weird time tower where space doesn't make sense, and then also like kind of just getting lost, in general, but not too worried about it. So you probably will find him, I guess like likely in the kitchen at this point.
Hey, Hurin. Brother, how's it going?
This is a lot to take in.
Yeah, you've I've noticed you've been wandering around the tower a bunch. Hope it's not been too overwhelming for you.
Oh, it has. But suppose this is just I've learned to expect the unexpected in life.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes you feel any better, but this tower is about as magically boisterous as you can get. And that's just my style. It's not for everyone, so...
oh, no, I can tell.
What can I say? It's who I am. But look, if you're interested in getting some fresh air and maybe visiting some places around Koira with me and my friends and my apprentice and Craig, we have some errands we need to run. We're gathering some information. We have a couple of leads on maybe where we can learn more about the rock homunculi that Kiri's been working on, and I thought it would be nice if you would like to join me and us. But it would be nice for you to come along, or if you wanted to stay here and just stay home, that's fine too.
No, I think I'd like to explore.
Great. Awesome. Wonderful. We do have to teleport there. I know that's uncomfortable, but it'll be
fine.
very quick. Great. Also, brother, it's been great having you here. I am banned from the 2 places that we are trying to go to.
Oh, Magnus.
I know. We'll figure it out. Arcos has a lot of sway in one area. The second one, I might just have to sit out. But hey, there have been bigger challenges that we've overcome, so it'll be fine. It'll be great. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited. It'll be our first adventure together. Anyway, when you got your things packed, go ahead and meet us in the teleportation room. It's going to be the 4th floor, 2nd door to your left, and then the 3rd door on your right. It'll have 2 candlesticks that are glowing blue above the door, so you shouldn't get lost.
Magnus, you turned me into a frog. I don't have things to pack.
I think like Magnus's like soul sort of like dies a little bit inside, where he's just like, yep, I'm the worst. That is true. Well, as your big brother, then it would be my pleasure to, before we put our lives in danger again, let me take you shopping. We can just spend some time getting you re-equipped. Anything you want, it's on me. You deserve to have your own things.
All right. Well then, let's head out.
Great. And then Magnus is gonna leave. Fuck.
Yeah, so you all gather your things, those of you who have personal possessions, and make your way to the teleportation circle. I mean, to be fair, Craig is also just like wearing like Julian's clothes.
Yeah, I think Magnus sees Craig show up too and like is now thinking about it. He's like, Craig, we're also gonna take you shopping as well. I know you weren't there when we decided this, but we're going shopping once we get there.
Yeah, okay. Cool. Great.
Okay. Everybody join hands. Try to clear your mind. All right. On the count of 3. 1, 2, we teleport.
Yeah. As you all are surrounded by a light that quickly shifts to darkness, less like you're seeing black and more like the darkness of the inside of your eyelids, where you are just aware that there is not vision. You instinctively, I think every time you teleport, probably close your eyes, as anyone would when going to the unknown spaces in between space. And all of a sudden, through your closed eyes, you see a bright, shining light, and as you flicker them open, are greeted by a beautiful blue, puffy, clouded sky, lush green grass, the likes of which you haven't seen in maybe over a couple months. not yet entirely scourged by blight, and a beautiful forest of incredibly tall trees that only grow in this area of the continent. And you're about a couple hours walk from an outpost that you know to be slightly to the north of here, where you can get provisions to head further into the forest toward Forlorn. Anything else you guys want to do as you land?
I just want to go over to a tree and like hold it for a second, just put my hand on it and just This is my tower, Magnus.
You can say that again. God, I miss this.
It is nice to smell fresh air again. And then Magnus is gonna like step away from the group and pull out a pipe and start to smoke. And he's gonna throw his hood up and sort of like cloud his face so he's not quite as recognizable. And then could I make a spellcasting check to like just like sort of change what my outer cloak looks like so I'm not quite as like recognizable?
I'll just go ahead and give you that. That's
okay.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, so like Magnus has like a couple different monikers that he goes by, and one of them is the Autumn Stranger. For like from when when he wanders as sort of like an older looking man, with like grays and like fall colors and stuff. So I think he like takes on that visage a little bit. So like his beard grays a little bit, gets a little bit longer. Like his cloak, which is normally like dark and purple and like embroidered, is becomes like this like flat, like brown and patched gray cloak. And he like carries his staff and like uses it a little bit more like a walking stick. So he looks like an older, just like shabbier man.
What? I'm guessing, I guess this is a wider question. Do the seasons work the same here in Craith that they do? Like, is it summer? Can we discern that like it's summertime with the green grass and trees and everything?
It's like late summer.
Okay, great. So I think Winnie, most of the time while she was at the tower, she had her hair tied up just because she was busy doing stuff. But when she feels the breeze in the air, she lets her hair down, and it's like it pretty much always contrasts with what the regular sky is. So her hair right now is like a dark purple ivory, that's not the right word, indigo, with stars in it. And it just blows very nicely in the breeze, and she takes a deep breath and enjoys it.
And Winnie, as you inhale and exhale, you, maybe more than anyone else, feel your breathing line up with the cadence of the wind through the leaves of the trees. And you feel, in a way, you're closer to home than you've been in a long time.